Hello everyone, welcome to the course on data structures and algorithm. In this video we are going to see selection sort. Now before we understand how exactly selection sort works, let us first try to understand a very simple example. For example, you are having 5 cards in your left hand and these are unsorted cards. So I wish to sort them. So how are we going to sort them? So for that, supposing I want minimum on this side and maximum on this side. So this is my right hand. So I'll be picking one card from left hand and I'll be putting it into the right hand. And I want in sorted order, so I'll be picking minimum card first. For example, I'll be taking this card first. Alright, and then that 2 will be put in the right hand side. Then I'll be shifting this to over here. Now let us pick the next card. Next card is, you can see that 5, 8, 10 and 7. So which is minimum? 5. So I'll be picking 5 and putting it into the right hand. Now let us compare 8, 10 and 7. Which one is the minimum one? 7. So I'll be picking 7 and putting it into the right hand. And then now I am having 8 and 10. So I'll be picking 8 and putting it into the right hand. And then I'm having 10. Then I'll be putting it into the right hand. So now you can see in right hand, now I am having all these cards sorted in is ascending order. That means minimum to maximum. Minimum to maximum. Now let us try to understand the same concept with some numbers. For example, numbers are these 42, 23, 74, 11, 65, 58. I wish to sort them. So how can I do that? Again, I'll be using a temporary array over here. And I'll be picking, the smallest number, and from, let's say this is my left hand. If I compare this with my previous example, so I'll be picking the smallest number from left hand and I'll be putting it into the right hand. So let us start doing it. Right, so let us take the smallest number, that is 11, and the right place for 11 is this 0th place. Then let us take the second number, that is 23. So 23 is second smallest number. So I'll be putting it into this second place. Now out of this 1, 2, 3, 4. Now next is 42. So 42 I'll be putting it into the right hand. Then I'll be putting 58. Then I'll be putting 65. And then lastly I'll be putting 74. So now this is a complete sorted list. Alright, this is a complete sorted list starting from minimum to maximum. And at the end, now I'll be copying this right hand back to the left hand, to the original. Alright, so this is how we can sort. Now this is the fundamental idea behind selection sort. Alright, but the major thing over here in both the example that we have seen is you need to have temporary variable, temporary array, but in real situation we would not recommend to use temporary array. So what is recommended? It is recommended that you use this particular array only and you sort everything within the frame of this array. So let us see how this is done. So the same example we are taking. Alright, now let us start. Now we are not going to use temporary array and we are going to do that swapping within this array only. So now we will be starting from this position. Let's say this is I equal to 0. So we are having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So total there are 6. So size of this array is equal to 6. Alright. So starting from 0 up to 5. So 0 to 5. Now I'll be taking this I equal to 0 and then now I'll be comparing this with all other elements and then I'll be checking which one is the lowest one. So well, I'll be starting from I equal to 0 and then j always starts from I plus 1. So j always starts from next element. So if I equal to 0, j equal to 1. So j equal to 1, j equal to 2, 3, 4, 5. And now you can see which one is the lowest one. So the j equal to 3, this is the lowest one. So what we'll be doing, that 11, that will be swapped. 11 should go to the 0th position because we know that the right place for this minimum number is this one. So I'm going to swap 11 with 42. So this is the status. So now this is at its right place. Now let us talk up the rest of the element. So now I'll be starting I from next element. So previously I was 0, now I am starting I from 1, and j always starts from I plus 1. So if I equal to 1, j starts from 2. So j equal to 2, j equal to 3, j equal to 4, j equal to 5. And now compare all these elements, and we can see that 23 itself is the smallest one. So now we are not going to change it. So 23 is at its right place. Now let us move forward. So now 11 is at its right place, 23 is at its right place. Now let us start with the next term. So now I equal to 2. So previously it was I equal to 0, then I equal to 1, now I equal to 2. And j always starts from I plus 1. So j equal to, because I equal to 2, so j starts from 3. So j equal to 3, j equal to 4, and j equal to 5. Compare these with all of them, and you can see which one is the minimum. 42. So now I'll be swapping 42 with 74. So this is the status. So now 11 is at right place, 23 is at right place, 42 is at right place. Now let us move this I. So previously I was 3, now I equal to, sorry, it was 2, now I equal to 3. And j always starts from I plus 1. So j always starts from I plus 1. So j equal to 4 and j equal to 5. Now compare this with this, and we can see that 58 is the smallest one. So now I'll be swapping 58 with 74. So you can see now 58 is also at its right place. 11, 23 and 42, we have already done that thing. So now lastly, because I equal to 3, now over here it is I equal to 4, and j always starts from I plus 1. So j always starts from I plus 1, that is j equal to 5. And now compare these two, and we know that 65 is already at its right position. So we are not going to swap it, we'll be keeping 65. So now 65 is at right position. So 11, 23, 42, 58 and 65. And now the last element, and last element is already at its right position. So we do not need to compare, or we do not need to swap. So 74 is at the right position. So now if you see, this is the sorted array from minimum to maximum. 11 is minimum and 74 is maximum. Now let us try to understand this situation from the point of view of program. So if you can see our I, the I, it starts from 0. Look at this. I starts from 0, then I equal to 1, then I equal to 2, then I equal to 3, then I equal to 4. So we are going all the way up to 4. So I equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if we compare in terms of size, so I starts from 0 and it is going all the way up to size minus 2. What is size? Size is 6. So 6 minus 2 is 4. So I is ranging from 0 to 4. I is ranging from 0 to size minus 1. And what about j? So you can see every time j starts from I plus 1. Every time j starts from I plus 1. Every time j starts from I plus 1. Every time j starts from I plus 1 and I plus 1. So j will start from I plus 1 and it will go all the way up to, look at this, it is going up to 5, 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 it is going up to 5. That means, can I say it is size minus 1, because size equal to 6. So 6 minus 1 is 5. So now this is important. I is starting from 0 and going all the way up to size minus 2, and j is starting from I plus 1 and j is going all the way up to size minus 1. So this is very important from program point of view. Now let us move further. So let us see the algorithm. So we can see that I is starting from 0 to size minus 2, that we have already seen. So I is starting from 0 to size minus 2, and j always starts from I plus 1. So j always starts from I plus 1 to size minus 1. So these are the two different arrays that we loops that we are going to use. And initially we are going to use this I mean. I mean is equal to I. So this is nothing but this place I. So because at this particular point I wish to have minimum, then at this particular point I wish to have minimum, at this particular point I wish to have minimum. So that is why I am recording I minimum, and every time I am checking A of j with A of I minimum. That means every time I am checking this element with other element, this j equal to 1, j equal to 2, j equal to 3, j equal to 4, j equal to 5. So I am comparing A of j with A of I minimum, and if this element is greater, if this element is greater than I minimum, then in that case we will be recording the value of j. For example, in this case the 11 is to be recorded, means what is the value of j at that time? 3. So that will be recorded in this I minimum. So I minimum will be 3. Alright, and once we are out of this loop, we will be swapping AI. AI matlab, so this one is AI and this one is I minimum. So we will be swapping. So that's AI and I minimum. These two are swapped. So this is the simple selection sort algorithm. Now let us try to write C program for this. So let us take the same example. I'm having total 6 elements and all these elements are put over here, and we know that the outer loop I starts from 0, it is going all the way up to size minus 2, and this j always starts from I plus 1 and j is going all the way up to size minus 1, and then we compare aj with A minimum, and if required we store j into I minimum. And after this loop, we will be swapping AI with AI min, and we know that while swapping you need a temporary variable, and just keep on doing for next I, then again the same thing, and at the end you can print the value of that particular array. So you will be getting the sorted output. All right, so look at this. Let me just remove this thing. All right, so you can have this thing. This is my array. This is my array A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. And now initially I equal to 0. So initially I equal to 0, and for all the value of I, we are starting from I plus 1. So we are starting from I plus 1, that is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. These are the values of j. This is the value of I. And then we are comparing the values 23 with 42, so exchange is not required. Then 42 and 74 is compared, and then first 42 and 23 is compared and exchange is done. Then 40, then 74 and 23, then 11 and 23. So we can see that 11 would be over here. So 11 is something that you are going to have in A minimum, and once you have that A minimum, what we are going to do, we are going to put this over here and we are going to put this over here. So this is what we call a swapping. This is what we call swapping. So this is my first phase. Likewise, then I'll be running this loop second time. So second time the value of I will be 1 and the value of j will start from I plus 1. So j will start from 2, 3, 4, 5. And again now I'll be comparing these everything, and we know that 23 is the minimum one, so I don't need to swap. So I'll be swapping the same element at the same place, so it will be the same thing. Then next time, you know, this 42 and 74, these are to be swapped. Alright, next time this 58 and 74 are to be swapped, and then next time there is no need to swap, so we are having this sorting. So this is how a complete selection sort algorithm works, and in the output you are going to get this sorted order 11, 23, 42, 58, 65 and 74. So this is all about selection sort program as well as algorithm. So thank you very much all of you for being over here. In our next video we'll be talking about bubble sort. Thank you.